I feel like a broken record talking about how Google can't decide whether or not it wants Android or Chrome OS on large screens, and we have new reports saying that Google is finally going to make a decision. In a new leak that we have, it is coming to light that Google is working on a new generation of Pixelbook, or a new generation of large screen mobile computing device. Whether or not it's a laptop, a convertible, or a tablet, we don't know yet. But the first reports were saying that it is going to be running Android. And then later we found out that it's looking like Google is actually going to be combining Android and Chrome OS. And this is huge news for Android users all over the world for a couple of key reasons. First, it shows Google's commitment to Android on a large screen. That means that we're going to see better and more tablet optimized applications, and possibly even better and more tablets running Android. It also means that Google giving us DisplayPort out on the Pixel 8 Pro and now Pixel 9 Pro with different betas and stuff like that means that Google is considering the idea of Android on large screens coming from small mobile computing devices, because likely whatever Pixelbook this is going to be running an ARM-based SoC, because now Google feels like they need to compete with Apple. The second huge aspect of this is that there's millions of Chromebooks right now which could be getting either some kind of upgrade or see an end of life for updates of some sort, because Google is now going to be shifting towards Android on computers. I think that this is an absolutely fascinating development, and I think that it's going to be bringing a lot of functionality to the Android space on multiple different screens, and it's finally going to give developers a reason to develop Android apps that are native to large screen devices, which is something that has plagued Android since the beginning, or we could say maybe since Honeycomb, and it's something that has really given Apple a leg up. We have seen Microsoft make several attempts of having a touch optimized desktop OS in Windows. The different Surface devices have been good for some crowds, bad for other crowds, but we have seen Apple take a very, very hardline approach that iPad OS is going to be their large touchscreen optimized operating system, which feels like a very Apple thing to do, but they're still not necessarily going to be giving us any type of special desktop mode over USB-C or Thunderbolt out on the new iPhones. We're not going to see any kind of convergence between those two worlds. Having Google make the shift away from Chrome OS into Android OS might not seem like it's that big of a deal on the surface because of the overall crossover that we have between Android apps and Chrome apps. But the idea of having a graphical user interface and having desktop-like operating system baked into every version of Android that we have means that people that have been using Samsung DeX for years, or people that love Samsung DeX like myself, and smash the like button if you've ever experienced Samsung DeX, if you've ever watched any of my videos on Samsung DeX, and I'll have a link up here to where you guys can see some more videos about that. But essentially, it's been Samsung's version of a desktop operating user experience. I personally really like it. I love the multi-window support, and I love the way it handles multitasking. What I want to know, and what I want you guys to sound off in the comments, is are we gonna have issues with fragmentation for older generation Chrome-based laptops? How do you guys think Google is going to handle this transition and this combining of these two worlds? The second thing I want to know from you guys is, what are you excited about, or what type of devices do you think you might purchase, or what type of functionality do you think you might use out of some of these devices? I know personally for me, I work part-time here as an English teacher along with doing YouTube, and I have to bring a laptop every day to class. If I could bring my cell phone and just plug in an HDMI adapter and run everything out of my phone and have some kind of a desktop operating experience that was optimized for that, that would be fantastic, because there's no reason that I can't run any of the web apps that I currently use off my phone. It just means that people can save money buying less devices and just using those devices in new and different and better ways.